Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're doing one of our whip check sessions.
Yep.
Where we look at a really big shift happening in a field.
And this time, it's huge.
It really is.
Yeah.
The whole car world seems to be buzzing about Jaguar right now.
Absolutely. Their radical rebrand and this new Type Uso concept car, it's made massive waves.
Yeah, definitely. So for you, our listener, we're going to give you the full picture. We've gone through transcripts from Autofocus, Top Gear, and CarWow.
Each with a slightly different angle on it all.
Exactly. So forget wading through tons of articles. We're pulling out the key stuff here. We want to understand why Jaguar is making such a massive change, what that change actually looks like.
And critically, what are the first reactions? What might happen next?
Right. Let's jump in.
It is genuinely wild to see a brand that's, nearly 100 years old, basically hitting the reset button hard.
Yeah. And our sources all seem to agree. This isn't just, changing the logo slightly. It's fundamental.
Totally. Autofocus had a really interesting take. They see this whole shift to electric cars as a golden opportunity, especially for brands that were maybe struggling a bit.
A chance to wipe the slate clean.
Exactly. They mentioned Hyundai and Kia, didn't they, how they used EVs like the Ioniq 5 and EV6 to completely reposition themselves.
Right, becoming really tech-forward, design-led brands.
Yeah, almost overnight it felt like. So you kind of wonder if Jaguar sees this EV revolution as maybe their only real shot at doing something similar.
That makes a lot of sense. And Autofocus really dug into Jaguar's problems, didn't they? Relying on an older crowd.
Yeah, the sort of 60-plus male demographic they mentioned.
And sales figures that just weren't stacking up against Porsche or Mercedes. Under 100,000 cars a year, I think.
Yeah, tiny numbers, relatively speaking. It really paints a picture of a brand kind of stuck, right?
And we shouldn't forget the I-Pace, their first EV. Autofocus brought that up, too.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
It just sort of disappeared for most people, didn't it? Ended up mostly in Waymo fleets.
Right, so just going electric isn't a magic bullet for them. They tried it before, sort of quietly.
Yeah. And the numbers from CarWow really drive home how urgent this was. They reported just 64,000 sales in 2023.
Ouch. Compare that to Land Rover's 370,000. Or Porsche, around 320,000.
And BMW, like 2.2 million. It's stark.
It really is. But the bit from CarWow that really stood out was the claim they might have been losing money on every car sold.
Wow. If that's true.
Then this isn't just about image, it's survival, isn't it? Like they said, no point flogging a dead horse. You got to try something completely different.
Okay, so the why seems pretty clear. Necessity. Let's talk about the what then. This rebrand and the Type Gear car.
Yeah, and shakeup feels mild. Top Gear called it the reset of all resets.
For a brand with such history, too, D-Type, E-Type XJ.
Iconic stuff. And now you have this live, vivid, delete ordinary campaign, a new logo, the device mark, they're calling it.
It feels like a very deliberate break, doesn't it? Almost aggressive, like forget the old Jaguar.
And it definitely got a reaction. Top Gear mentioned all the press, good and bad, even people like Elon Musk and Nigel Farage weighing in, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. But Top Gear also explained the thinking behind it, this new philosophy, exuberant modernism.
Exuberant modernism.
Resulting from brave, unconstrained creative thinking. That's the official line. Definitely sets you up for something bold.
And the Type Zero concept is certainly bold. Over 5 meters long, that really cab rearward shape.
And those super flat, almost bluff surfaces, yeah. Top Gear compared it to a Rolls-Royce Spectre mixed with a Cybertruck, maybe with some Hot Wheels thrown in.
Oh, that's quite a mix. And that pink color, the Ron Rose.
Or Miami Pink, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't miss it. Though they do have a London Blue, too, which is interesting.
Kind of hedging their bet slightly?
Maybe. Or just showing a focus on color itself. But even the name Top Gear thought that hints they're not totally ditching the past. Like the E-Type was a shock in its day, too.
That's a good point. It is all electric, though. Zero emissions.
Yeah. And no rear window. Just a light bar across the back, mirroring the front.
Like the Polestar 4, yeah. CarWow mentioned that, too. And butterfly doors.
Butterfly doors, according to Top Gear, leading into this really unusual interior. Brass, travertine stone, wool blends.
CarWow described it as really minimalist, lots of white, but with that brass spine down the middle.
Right.
And stone plinths for the seats.
Yeah, very architectural, as CarWow put it. And Top Gear talked about sliding instruments and screens.
But also this digital detox idea, with physical totems.
Right. CarWow detailed those two. Little keys made of brass, alabaster, or Tafe stone. You put one in, and it changes the mood lighting, the screen graphics, even the scent inside the car.
That's different, very tactile.
Very. It suggests they want the whole experience to be different, not just the car.
And that extends to how you buy it, right? Top Gear mentioned moving away from traditional dealers.
Yeah, towards these curated brand stores, like Hermes or Dior, starting in Paris.
It all feels very high-end, very luxury fashion.
And revealing it in Miami connects with that idea of a younger, more creative, maybe wealthier audience.
Makes sense. CarWow also touched on the controversy, like deleting all their old Instagram posts.
Yeah, that caused a bit of an uproar online.
But you can't argue with the attention it generated, can you? CarWow had the numbers 2.7 million views on the video, loads of comments.
And the Google search data they showed was amazing, a massive spike in interest, bigger than anything since maybe the I-Pace 1 car of the year, or even their F1 car launch way back in 2004.
So, love it or hate it, people are definitely looking at Jaguar again.
For sure. And CarWow did a good job reminding us that Jaguar does have this history of innovation, you know?
Right, the XK120 being the fastest car, the XJ220, the aluminum XJ.
Exactly. So maybe this radicalism isn't entirely out of character, even if it feels jarring right now.
And they confirm the Type 0 isn't just pure fantasy, right? It previews a real car.
Yeah, CarWow says it points to a four-door coupe EV, like a Porsche Taycan competitor.
Built on a new dedicated platform, JEA.
Jaguar Electric Architecture, yeah. And they're aiming for serious specs, like 480 miles of range, really fast charging.
Okay, so there's substance behind the style. Let's get to the so what then. What are the implications, the big takeaways?
Well, autofocus kind of suggested the thinking inside Jaguar was probably, okay, forget everything, start over.
Burn it all down and build something new.
Pretty much. And they made that really interesting comparison to the Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah, how everyone online seemed to hate it initially.
But in the real world, people are just curious. They stop and stare.
Right. And autofocus argued if the Type 0, or the car it becomes, has that same effect, just making people look when it drives past, that could actually be a win for Jaguar.
Just getting noticed again would be huge for them.
Yeah. And Top Gear had that quote from Jerry McGovern, Jaguar's creative chief, talking about exuberant modernism again, but also the total experience. It's not just the car's design.
It's the buying process, the ownership.
Yeah.
Reframing the whole relationship.
But they also acknowledged how polarizing it is. Some people see it as forward-thinking, others just reject it outright.
Yeah, it's definitely split opinions. But Top Gear did include some reassurance from Jaguar's managing director, Roden Glover.
Oh, yeah. What did he say?
That the core Jaguar things, handling, ride quality, performance, those are still absolutely key. They're not forgetting how to make a car drive well.
Okay, that's important. It's a balance then. New image, but hopefully retaining some of that driving DNA.
Exactly. And CarWow kind of summed it up well. They acknowledged all the negativity online.
There's been a lot.
Oh, yeah. But they argued, look, it worked. It got everyone talking about Jaguar again, maybe more than any other brand right now, even Tesla.
So the controversy itself might be the strategy.
Possibly, or at least a calculated risk. CarWow suggested this buzz might actually be what keeps Jaguar afloat.
Wow. That's quite a statement.
It is. And they're backing it up with serious cash, that $15 billion investment over 5 years for a whole range of EVs, starting with this Type 0 inspired one.
They're not messing around. It's all in.
Seems like it. So, stepping back, this whole whip check on Jaguar, it's a really powerful example of the pressure cooker these old school car brands are in right now with electrification.
Yeah, Jaguar had this amazing heritage, but it just wasn't working for them anymore, sales-wise.
Right. So they took this huge gamble. It's a fascinating business case study, really. Reinvention on a massive scale.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this deep dive up. Key points. Jaguar's rebrand is radical, born out of real necessity, falling sales, aging customers.
Yep. The Type 0 concept is the symbol of that break. Super bold, very different.
Reactions are intensely polarized, which highlights the massive risk they're taking, betting everything on electric and a totally new identity.
And we had some useful comparisons, didn't we? The Hyundai-Kia EV success story as maybe a template.
Yeah, and that Cybertruck analogy about how online reaction doesn't always match real-world impact, that was interesting.
And just the sheer scale of the ambition, the money involved.
Yeah. So for you listening, hopefully this gives you a really clear sense of what's happening with Jaguar right now. It definitely makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is this incredibly bold move going to pay off?
What does the future actually hold for this brand we thought we knew?
Yeah.
And it leaves you with a bigger thought, maybe. Jaguar has this incredible history of innovation, right? So is this radical shift just the next necessary evolution for them to survive and thrive in the EV age?
Nor is it too much. A risky abandonment of what made Jaguar, well, Jaguar.
And what does this whole saga tell us about the pressure all the other established car makers must be feeling right now? How will they adapt?
Definitely something to think about. A real whip check moment for the whole industry, maybe.
Yeah.